Hey, what's up, guys? You are now on the maiden voyage of the Fans View podcast with Jarrett. I am your host, Jarrett, obviously, and I'm a solo job. I also have another podcast called the Marks on a Mission podcast that I host with my buddy, William Blackley. On that show, we kind of talk about, it's really 99.9% wrestling. You know, we talk about current stuff, and we usually go over a pay-per-view or a match or something like that. But this is gonna be a little bit different. This is gonna be more of an interview-based thing. It's gonna be the audio version of interviews that I'll be doing for the Fans View podcast YouTube page. Which I'm gonna link in the description and everything. Obviously, you'll be able to see the interviews on YouTube. I'm going to link my Instagram. I'll link the TikTok. Everything will be at Jurratt, JURRRATTT. But like I said, I'll link everything in the description. Easy for me to say. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with this show. If I wanted to make it like a little 15-minute quick hitter, you know, or whatnot. I have an idea for what I want to do here, for the things I want to, you know, what I want to do, what I want to cover, things like that. It will be a lot of wrestling personalities, you know, former, current, things like that. But this is not going to be exclusively wrestling. I've already reached out to a lot of different people. I want to have on, like I said, former pro wrestlers, current pro wrestlers, sports media personalities, other kinds of athletes, MMA fighters. I've got something in the MMA field, you know, coming down the pike for you guys. Also, I'm really thinking I'm probably gonna try to get some exposure for people that, you know, aren't as well known. I have some comedians in mind, you know, that are up and coming. Maybe a couple singer-songwriters. It's really just a fluid situation. Like I said, we'll do some wrestling. We'll probably do a lot of wrestling, you know, if I'm being honest, because that's where my connections are. That's where I know the most people. That's what I'm most informed about. So, you know, from that standpoint, you probably will get a lot of wrestling here, but this is not a wrestling podcast, if that makes sense. That's why I wanted to name it The Fans View, because I am a fan. I am a shameless mark. You know, mark being a wrestling term. Look at me already leaning into wrestling. You know, I'm a huge fan of the things I like, and I'm not afraid to tell everybody and scream it from the mountaintops. Just some things that I'll complain about, you know. I say complain about, talk about wrestling. The Boston Red Sox, Clemson Tiger football specifically, which also makes me a Jacksonville Jaguars fan for obvious reasons. You know, 16's my boy, who is actually, I found out today, is expecting his first child on the way. So congratulations to Marissa and Trevor Lawrence. That's awesome. After signing that big deal. And that's probably going to be a weird time capsule, because obviously this first episode is going to be attached with my Matt Riddle interview, which I actually did first week of June, I believe, at the River City Wrestling Convention, which was terrific. I can't put that place over enough. River City Wrestling Convention. The venue was great. It was their first year in St. Augustine, actually, and not Jacksonville. The venue was great. The staff was fantastic. The security was good. You know, there was plenty of space. It wasn't 110 degrees in there, which, if you've ever been to a wrestling convention, that's kind of the typical situation. It's usually 150 degrees in there. Everybody stinks to high heaven. You're crammed in there like cattle. You can't move around. That was not the case at River City Wrestling. So I want to shout those guys out. I also want to take a second to shout Matt Riddle out. You're going to see in the interview, you're going to hear in the interview, he was fantastic. He didn't care whatever topic I wanted to talk about. He was there for it. There was nothing off limits. You know, he was very, very generous with his time. Obviously, being released not too terribly long ago from WWE, his lines at the convention on the convention circuit right now are pretty insane. He couldn't have been more kind. So I really want to take a second to put Matt Riddle over. If you guys see him at a convention or anything like that, man, stop, talk to him, you know, buy an autograph, take a picture. He is a fantastic guy. You might not agree with some of his life choices, which, you know, that's between you and him, but I can only speak to my interaction with him, and it was fantastic. And that's not the only time. I mean, like I said, I'm a shameless fan. I've been one of the airport guys before, you know, so I've seen Matt in non-paid settings, and he is just as kind of an individual, you know, in those situations as he was, you know, at this time. All right, so I guess with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to my interview with one Matt Riddle, and I'll be back with you guys on the other side of this thing, and we'll chit-chat some more. I hope you guys enjoy the interview. If you do, please hit me up on socials. Let me know. Like I said, I'm at Jurat on basically everything. And that is JURRRATTT. At Jurat. Yeah, if you enjoy this, please let me know. Hit me on Twitter. Hit me on Instagram. You know, follow me on Instagram. The biggest, my gosh, and I can't say this enough, the biggest thing would be to subscribe to this podcast and watch the interview on YouTube. My YouTube views are really what's going to dictate how big of a guest I can get on. You know, I need subscribers. I need that number to go up. So please, if you enjoy this podcast, please like and subscribe to the podcast. Even more so, please go like and subscribe my YouTube channel. It's at Jurat, and it's called The Fans View Podcast. If we can get those subscriber numbers up, guys, the sky is the limit to who we can get on this show. You know, and I promise, this is episode 1, and I'll make this promise, I will not give you guys the BS, you know, sugar-coated softball interviews that you get everywhere else. I'm not going to be a dick, you know, excuse my language. I'm not going to be a prick just for the sake of being a prick, and I don't want to do that gotcha journalism stuff, obviously. But, like I said, this show is called The Fans View because I'm a fan, and there's things that I want to know. You know, so I want to ask from the fans' perspective, not from a media, you know, sports journalist, Dave Meltzer, dirt sheet. That's not where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a purely fan perspective. I'm watching Raw. I'm watching SmackDown. I'm watching baseball on TV. I'm going to football games. I'm watching ESPN, FS1, all these sports shows with all these talking heads. Like, I'm a fan just like anybody else. I just happen to try to spread my opinions and talk about things on the internet. For better or for worse, I guess we're going to find out. But please, like I said, like and subscribe to this pod, like and subscribe to the YouTube. Those are the two biggest things. And then also, you know, if you want to follow me on Instagram, the TikToks are going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, that is how you can help me. You don't have to spend a dime. If you want a t-shirt, that's in my link tree too. I mean, I'm never going to tell you not to. That would be tremendous. But please, just help me. I just want to grow right now. I'm not making any money, and I have no interest in making money right now. None whatsoever. I just want to grow so I can get better guests on here, you know, to entertain you guys. And heck, there's things I want to know from these guys. With that said, like I said, I'm going to toss it to myself and Matt Riddle at River City Wrestling Con, and I will talk to you guys on the other side. All right, I'm here at River City Wrestling Con with the original bro, Matt Riddle.
I'm actually the king of bros now. Original bro was my federal name.
Excuse me, Vince. Don't sue me. Don't shit in my hair, please.
You know. Yeah.
You know.
I do.
Anyway.
I worked there. No, I'm kidding. I didn't see
He's
any
never
of
shit in
that.
your hair, has he?
Never.
Okay, cool.
That I know of.
All right, well, you know what? All right, we're gonna take that.
Keep going.
This is off the fucking rails already. So, Matt, when would you say? Obviously, we know you had a career in the UFC and MMA before
Yeah.
WWE, before Evolve. When would you say you got the wrestling bug?
Well, growing up as a kid, I had the wrestling bug, wanted to wrestle, but as I got older, my mom wouldn't let me go to a pro wrestling school, and I didn't feel like I was big enough or had the size to be a professional wrestler. So I started doing amateur wrestling. And then I got into mixed martial arts and et cetera, like you were talking about. I felt like I got the wrestling bug when near the end of my MMA career when the network came out for $9.99. And I mentioned that because that $9.99 price point made it possible for somebody like me that fought in the UFC to actually be able to afford the pay-per-views and all the content. Because I couldn't before a $50 pay-per-view every month. Can't afford it, you know? So with that, I was able to watch all the WWE I wanted, watch the Legends of Wrestling, all those things. And I was like, and then I also felt like the business has changed from when I was watching it in the late 90s, early 2000s compared to 2014, 15.
Right.
And I feel like the guys were a little smaller, a little more athletic, could do a little more tricks, and were using more of a shoot kind of style, like Daniel Bryan and etc. So I felt like that's when I got the wrestling bug, and I was like, I can do this, and I can probably do this better than most of the people doing it here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when I just went full on.
So if you had to, if you have somebody, a newcomer comes in here right now, and I'm like, I want to show them a Matt Riddle match, which match would you send them towards? It doesn't have to be WWE.
Yeah, I got a bunch that aren't WWE that are tight. I would say, I mean, it depends on what you want to show them. I have one from OTT against Will Ospreay. I have one from OTT against Speedball, Mike Bailey. That's very impressive. If we're going the NXT route, I would say if you look at the one with Adam Cole, you know, or maybe the Fight Pit with Timothy Thatcher.
Yep, that was what I was going to say.
Or maybe even Clash at the Castle last time when I wrestled Seth Rollins, you know. That was a good one, too. I mean, Roman. I mean, I got quite a few. I mean,
you can't go wrong with that.
If you look up my name, you're gonna. I don't have too many bad matches, so good thing I got good opponents. But
you know,
I'm saying you won't find one. There's a couple. I'm not gonna name them. Though.
Well, you know, I'm glad you brought up a bad match because I'm never gonna interview him. So fuck it. What's the situation with Goldberg these days, buddy, pal?
I know.
Pal. He's still not your bro, is he?
He's not my bro. We're better. I mean, it's Bill. You know, if you know Bill, and I don't know him that well, but I know him. I call him Willie G. And if you don't know Willie G that well, you wouldn't get it. But I think we're good. But if he sees this or somebody else says something to him, he'll probably be pissed and like want to hit me again. I don't know. My thing is, I just want to wrestle. You know, I want to put it to rest. The King of Bros against Willie G, Billy Goldberg.
That would be,
you know?
That would be it.
It would be it. And I think I can do something that others haven't been able to do, and I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, and
I don't want to get into too much details, nitty gritty, but I'm very talented, and I think with what I can do and what he's capable of, I could make something really special where people would be like, "Oh man!" Like people would sink their teeth into it.
And I agree with that. It's all just a joke,
like
Bill.
when me and Seth Rollins had our little thing, and I was like, we had our beef, but it wasn't really a beef, and I told him to say some shit that would make most people go crazy.
Yeah.
But then it made everybody else think it's crazy.
That's it.
You know? So
make that money. Make that money. Obviously, we're kidding. Bill Goldberg's a great sports entertainer.
Great sports entertainer.
I think a match with you guys would be the shit.
The lasso.
So anyway, there's been a controversy here recently with some videos coming out of like fans busting Rhea Ripley's balls, busting Ray's balls. What do you feel and what do you think? What's your opinion on fans at the airport?
I don't care. I really don't care about it. I look at it like this. I made this a bad way. I look at if you show up at the airport at 6 o'clock in the morning and showed up, I barely make it to the airport. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I get paid to. So for me, I'm not saying bother me, you know, be polite and everything like that.
Right.
You know, but I respect it, I guess. I respect the grind.
Yeah.
I respect showing up at an airport, waiting in the lobby because these are like I hate being at the airport.
Right,
So
right. And people
you
are
know,
choosing to be
they're
there.
choosing to be there just to see me with
Right.
this person. So yes, but to be fair, when you're a RIA, especially with women, it's not as fair. It's not as comfortable. I'm 6'2", 220 pounds, and I fought in the UFC. You know,
Right.
I can handle myself. Not everybody, not saying Rhea can't. Mommy's strong, you know. But at the same time, it's more of a comfort thing.
Absolutely.
And me, I'm just very comfortable with myself and everything, and I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like,
Yeah, I mean, a
I'll sign
personal
that.
story. I've seen you walk through the airport. I've been in airport, Mark.
Yeah.
I've seen you walk through the airport, title around your neck. I don't give a fuck.
I don't.
You know,
I
most
don't.
people want to pull their
Well,
hats down, and
well, it's a weird thing. I remember one of the first times I went through the airport and I had a title around my neck, and I was supposed to meet Chuck Taylor. You know, I don't know.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
I was supposed to be Chuck Taylor. I couldn't find him. He was on my flight. Still couldn't find him. And then I go get my luggage, which is my merch bag, and I'm still looking for him. And he comes up behind me, sunglasses, hat down.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're embarrassing. Like, I can't believe you're wearing that shit like that." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "I don't want to be seen with you."
now does it affect you? I know you've said you don't care. Does it affect you if you know? Say I come up to you, I want a picture, I want an autograph, and then he comes up to you and he's got a stack of 8x10s about that big. Is that going to change how you feel about it?
Yes, it does. I'm not gonna sign your whole stack. you
Right.
know? Usually, I'll be like, "Hey, like, I'm pretty generous. So I'll do like a page or something."
Right.
But at the same time, especially not being in WWE and now
That's how you pay your bills.
doing the signings. I mean, I still wrestle quite a bit, but the signings, they're really beneficial. Like,
Right.
I never, I was with WWE, so I didn't really UFC when I was with them. Didn't really do signings.
Right.
But now that I'm doing them, and you do make a lot of money.
Right.
And there's a reason why people are so hesitant to be so willy nilly with their signature. You
Right.
know? But yeah, I mean, I just don't like holding grudges. It is what it is. I don't think anybody means anything mean by it. This is my best opportunity to possibly meet somebody.
Right. Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Me, would I do it? Probably not. But at the same time, it doesn't make it wrong,
That's fair. I think that's a pretty good outlook. Like you said,
But I will say this: if somebody says and makes it public, "Hey, I don't like this," don't do it.
respect
to them.
it.
So, like Rhea, if you don't like it, don't
Yep.
do it.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, Riddle said he doesn't care. Okay, when's he flying in?
Yeah, just don't show up with a stack of 8x10s like that.
And your kids can come, but don't use the kid to get me to sign.
Is
a
that
stack,
not the
because I'm just
creepiest?
too nice. I'm too nice that I won't say no.
Yeah,
know?
that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
So I guess my last question would be: is what's next for the bro? I mean, are we going to
What's
see you in AEW, WWE return?
Well, WWE return, you never know. AEW, you never know. Oh, right now I work a lot with like New Japan and MLW. I've been in talks with TNA. I talk to everybody to be
Right.
honest. But right now I'm just kind of focusing on myself. I got just had a child in December,
Congratulations,
so I have
by
a
the way.
6-month-old son, plus 3 other kids. My twin girls are
Yeah.
14. And my son is 11. So I got quite the roster. So I'm kind of just focusing on that because for probably the last decade or longer, I've just been wrestling,
road, yeah.
training, even on the indies, like you said, Evolve and Rev Pro and Progress and
Yeah.
OTT and every other indie in between. And that's basically what I'm doing now. But now I get paid a little more. I get to do these, and I get a little more time with my
Kind
family.
of call your shot now.
Yeah. Some weeks I make less, some weeks I make more, but I make those decisions.
Right.
And I'm in a good position where if I wanted to work every day, I probably could.
Absolutely.
I'm choosing not to.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Matt. We appreciate your time, brother. I hope
appreciate
you
you.
make that money, man. Make that money. Okay, guys. So that was a thing, huh? That one got a little squirrely on me. It got a little crazy, a little quick. But luckily for me, like I told you guys beforehand, Matt was so gracious, not only with his time, but where he was willing to go. He could have easily been like, "Man, I don't want to talk about Vince. I don't want to talk about Goldberg. Like, that's behind me." But he was gung-ho. You've got to watch the interview on YouTube because he was full-blown Matt Riddle. And like I told you guys before, we talked about it in the interview, but I've met him in the airport before, and he's just as nice a guy there. So it wasn't because he was being paid. In full disclosure, he didn't get paid for that interview either. He did that on his own accord. So, which I am finding out very slowly is a lot more rare than you would think. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. I really enjoyed talking to Matt. Hopefully it's not the last time I talk to him. He's great. So yeah, I'm trying real hard to get you guys some pretty kick-ass guests. But like I said, I need you guys to subscribe to this podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because if I can get up, to a couple hundred, 1,000 YouTube subscribers, the sky is the limit with my guests. Right now, I got a couple cool ones that have already agreed to do it, and we're just kind of working out some scheduling. I may or may not have some current professional wrestlers on tap. I have a pretty big name in the comedy world, in the sports world, who we're trying to schedule out right now. So I've got some super fun things coming. But the biggest thing is I just need support. I don't need your money. I just need your support. I need to borrow your ears for a little while. And maybe if you could just click the follow and like button, we'll be cooking then. So with that said, guys, I'm going to leave you. I hope this first episode wasn't a complete train wreck. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. I have no idea what you guys like, what you don't like, and what you do and don't want to hear unless you tell me. So hit me up on Twitter, at Jurat, JURRRATTT, at Jurat, JURRRATTT. That is my Twitter. That's my TikTok, my YouTube, and my Instagram. And if you'd like to buy a t-shirt for the Fans View podcast, we're on TeePublic. I think we're under the Fans View or the Fans View podcast. Obviously, I'm a new store on there, so if you can't find it, just go to one of my socials, and I'll have the link tree up there with the link right there in the bio. So if you guys want to pick up a sticker, something like that, if you want to support the show monetarily, more than welcome. If you don't, that's fine too. Follows and likes are free. Or subscribers and likes are free. So from the bottom of my heart, I would appreciate that, guys. But like I said, with that, I'm going to leave you guys, and I'll see you on the next episode, and see what we can do with this thing. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Till next time, I'm Jarrett, and this has been the Fans View.
If you haven't liked or subscribed, you're going to be joking me.